in my video and to have me make a video specially to answer your question, send me an email to englishclubusa@yahoo.com, and you can visit my website at englishclubusa.com for a free life membership. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. There is nothing more that I like than shocking people. And what shocks English teachers more than anything is when they see my students use all 12 verb tenses correctly. But that is the most difficult thing in English language. How do you master this many tenses as well as other 14 tenses ever? Well, now you will have a few classes and you're about to find out how you can shock your English teacher. The most important thing to remember as I talk to you in all of my classes is that English is binary. Well, how can English be possibly binary if English teachers want for you to learn 12 tenses of verbs? Something's wrong. Something is not right. Well, let me assure you, there are no 12 tenses in English language. What we have in English language in reality are two tenses. Just like anything else, tenses in English language are binary. Many of you understand the idea of Yin Yang. What is Yin Yang? What is the idea of Yin Yang? The idea of Yin Yang is everything that we will do in English classes or with my videos. An example, a Yin Yang represents a world, every world, including English world, in a way that everything has only two possibilities. Let's step away for a second from verbs and look how Yin Yang works with adjectives. For example, on the one hand you have small, on the opposite hand you have large. On the one hand you have feminine, on the other masculine. On one hand you have cold, on the other hot. And the same way things work in everything in English language. Well, let's take a look and see how that applies to verbs and verb tenses. As we have just talked about that verbs are binary as well, just like adjectives that we just looked at with a yin-yang example, there is no question that verbs are binary too. So many English teachers will say, stop! That's not correct. We have 12 different verbs we just looked at. 12 different verb tenses we just looked at. And I will say, no. We only have 2 verb tenses. And the reason why we have only 2 verb tenses is because time never stops. That means anything that we call now is nothing more than a division between yesterday and tomorrow. So now, whatever anyone is talking about present is really not the moment in time, but it's a point that moves from past to present and divides past and present. So if you think about English verbs, and more specifically, English tenses, as something that belongs either in the past or in the future, you will be able to think just like an English native speaker. So let's take a look at a very small example. I have a computer. So all English teachers now will agree with me that I have a computer is an example of simple present. So when you think about simple present, what do words simple present mean? Well, the word simple means one, and the word present means right now. This is the biggest problem in English language. This is what all English students start with. And when you start from the very beginning incorrectly, There is no way you can learn English correctly. There is no way you can learn to think like a native speaker. So let's take a look and ask ourselves a question. I have a computer. This is simple present. I have a computer now. Where's the computer? Now, I don't have a computer. So when you say that I have a computer, you're probably talking about that yesterday I had a computer, and tomorrow I will have a computer, but now, at this moment, right now, I don't have a computer. So when you think about simple present, you're not thinking about now. What you're thinking about what was before and what will be in the future. Wait, but that was supposed to be present. Well, simple present, in reality, because now doesn't exist, now divides past and future. That means that in reality, present is not correct. It isn't a present. And when we talk about yesterday and tomorrow, that's at least two things. And if there are at least two things, how can it possibly be simple? So this is the funny part. The simple present, in reality, has nothing to do with present, and it has nothing to do with simple. Let's take a magic marker and let's correct English language. We will take the present out and we will take the simple out. Now we will be able to think like a native speaker. Let's look at another example and see how that works. I love my job. I love making videos. I enjoy doing that. Do I love my job right now? Yes. But did I love my job yesterday? Yes. Will I love my job tomorrow? Yes. So I love my job includes everything. Do I love my job when I sleep? No. Do I love my job when I drive? No. But when I do my job, I love my job. So that means that every time when I do my job, I love it. So in reality, simple present has nothing to do with present. What it has to do with is combination of past and future, and more importantly, something that repeats itself. Just like I love my job. And then you will ask me a question. Okay, Valerio, is this all there is to it? Is it possible that we can use another tense just like simple present? Well, now I'm getting ready to be killed by English teachers. Because English teachers say that what repeats can only be single present. Wrong. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's take a look at example and ask ourselves this question. Can present continuous, which we will discuss in just a few minutes, can present continuous be used just like simple present? Let's look at the next example. Every time you do video homework, you're visiting EnglishClubUSA.com. So every time, this is your time reference that tells you that you're using a simple present, supposedly. You're using that tense every day. Then you have the verb do that tells you that's the format of a simple present verb. Every day you do video homework. So every day you do video homework, at that moment, what's happening? You're using English Club USA. So what happens now, this entire thing actually is a time reference. So every time you do your homework, that means every time you do your homework, whether it's in the past or in the future, you are using English Club USA. So now your present continuous is used as simple present. Now you're watching videos, but you're not always watching videos. When you're having breakfast, you're not watching videos. But this expression is correct always. Why? Because this expression describes when you were watching videos yesterday and when you will watch videos tomorrow. And you're not always watching videos. So let's take a look and see a little bit better how does Yin Yang can help us understand that situation. Okay, let's take a look and see how Yin Yang contributes to our understanding how native people think about simple present. Remember Yin Yang? That has two parts to it. Remember we talked about that English is binary. That means that one part is a past and the other part is the future. So what is a now? A now is the line that divides the past and the future. So when you say about, for example, remember the example with the computer? I have a computer. Well, it is just like that. So at some point, I bought the computer and then I will continue using it. So when I say I have a computer, what I'm saying that in the past, I had a computer, and in the future, I will have a computer. So this would be a good visual representation of I have a computer. And the same, absolutely the same idea, that's what native people think, that's how we imagine it, an example of I love my job. You didn't always have a job, but when that job started, you will love it until a certain point in the future. So simple present in reality is not present. It's a combination between past and the future. Let's take another example that we were talking about earlier. Every time you do video homework, you are using English Club USA. So now you have a sentence where you have the past, which is every time you do your homework, which is exactly that. That's your time reference. Then inside the time reference, when you are doing it, you're using English Club USA. So what happens is that when you do video homework, in that moment in time, you are having a process of using English Club USA. So this is a perfect example just to show you that in reality, simple present is not present and it's not that simple. What it is, it's a repetition of things in a certain schedule. In this case, the schedule is every time. So only at the schedule of watching, of doing video homework, only then you're using English Club USA. So let's take a look and see how does present continuous work with a present tense. Maybe we have a surprise. Well, let's see. I promise you a surprise, and maybe we have one. So let's take a look and see when we talk about present continuous, which is no longer a simple present, it has something to do with present, right? Yes, something yes, but maybe not all. So when you talk about a time reference and you say now, what are you talking about? We already understand that now, a simple present, includes something from the past and something from the future. So it's never just a point in time. So when we say now, a default, if we have a sentence, I am doing video homework on English Club USA, when you say I am doing, that's a default, there's no time reference. So what we understand when you say I am having breakfast, what we understand that you started having breakfast at some point, you are having breakfast, and you will end having breakfast at some point. So when you're talking about the present continuous, what you're talking about, in fact, is a time reference. A time reference that has a starting point and a time reference that has an ending point. So whatever is between the starting point and the ending point is your present continuous. Now, can present continuous be more than just a video? Can be more than hour and a half? Well, any kind of a time reference that physically includes us inside, between the start and finish, is your now, is your present continuous. We can change time reference any way we like, but we must physically or mentally stay inside the time reference. So, if we say that today I am doing video homework on English Club USA. When you say today I am doing, did you already finish doing it? Or you will start doing it? It doesn't matter. Because if today started at night at 00:00:01 and it will end at 2400 hours, that means we are somewhere during the 24-hour period. That means today is your time reference. I am doing video homework. You can say this week I am doing video homework. Why? Because week starts on a Monday and it ends on a Sunday. So when you say this week I am doing video homework 3 times, that's perfect. Now you say, but that's repetition. It doesn't matter. Like I said earlier, you can use present continuous even if it's a repetition, if it's inside start and finish time reference, which can be this week or it can be this month. You can say this month I am doing video homework 5 times. Perfect. There's no problem with it. This year we're going to Disney World. Maybe I already went to Disney World. Maybe I will go to Disney World. Maybe I will go twice this year. But the year when it started, I was in Disney World. And when this year will end, I will be in Disney World. That means that I am going to Disney World twice this year. Because this year is our time reference. And this year for us is now. One thing that is really, really important to remember about any kind of a tense, whether it's a past or a future, it is very important to remember that time never stops. And this is the reason why tenses are always binary. They are always made of 2 parts, the past and the future. Well, for now, we're done with the present. There's nothing to do about present. You've learned all of your present tenses that don't exist. But what in fact is something that repeats itself as a simple present, or something that lasts a certain amount of time, that starts and ends at a certain point in time. So now let's take a look and see in the next class, how does the past work in this binary situation. I hope you enjoyed this class. Make sure you go and try doing the exercises that are very important. This way you will really understand well how to think just like a native. I hope to see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed your class. To be in my video and to have me make a video specially to answer your question, send me an email to englishclubusa@yahoo.com, and you can visit my website at englishclubusa.com for a free life membership. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.